What's up everyone, this is FP6. Before we get started with this video, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. We just hit 40,000 subscribers, which is really exciting. I started this channel a little over a year ago, and to have that amount of growth in 1 year, I feel very humbled and blessed that all of you feel that this content is good enough that you are willing to subscribe. So I just want to personally thank everyone out there who has continued to support this channel, all my patrons, all the viewers, all the people that watch me on Twitch as well. Big thank you to all of you. This has really got me thinking, and I think that I'm going to start this new series and call it like legendary battle strategies or something like that. I'm still working on the title, but the thought process here is I'm very much a teacher at heart, and it's actually pretty much my full-time job as well. I teach music, for those of you that do not know. And then I do all this pogo stuff on the side, even though that feels like a full-time job a lot of the time as well. But with this series that I'm going to start, Legendary Battle Strategies, I'm going to be taking a couple battles, maybe 1 or 2 battles, and that I feel highlight a lot of these top level gameplay strategies that you find in a lot of these top battlers. If this is your first time to the channel, as far as like my credit, as far as what I'm talking about goes, I've been able to hit the top rank in Go Battle League every single season, and I'm consistently on the leaderboards, and I've hit #1 in the world a couple times as well. So I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but just so you know that all of these strategies I'm hoping to give you all, these are legit, and the whole point of this is to help us all become better battlers and continue to grow the PvP community. So this is going to be kind of a work in progress, but I really want to kind of have this video series be a thing, so we can call it Legendary Battle Strategies. But the team that I'm going to be using in this particular video is going to be Drifblim in the lead, Kingdra as the safe swap, and Typhlosion in the back running Incinerate. All these battles were done in Ultra Premier, and this video is very much for all the people out there who maybe don't yet fully understand all of the high-level thought process and plays that go into being one of the best players in the world. So it is my goal and my hope that through these videos we can all continue to become better battlers, and this will provide you with further insight into what is going through my mind while these battles are taking place. So let's jump right into this. So I have 3 battles that I'd like to showcase today, and what I'm going to be doing is providing you with a play-by-play of pretty much exactly what's going on in my head while the battle is taking place. Now, something to keep in mind, these battles are going to be in normal speed, but I'm going to be stopping and starting the video a lot and discussing what is currently going through my head while the battle is taking place. And once again, keep in mind that when these battles are happening in real time, these calculations and these like analysis of the opponent's possible backline are all happening within a split second. All these decisions are happening very quickly, but I do want to break down with enough time here to show you all what is kind of going through my head here. So in this first battle, let's jump into it here, and you can see the team on the screen. So Drifblim into Shiftery. Not the most ideal lead, and the reason being is most likely this Shiftery is going to be running Snarl as the fast move. So Snarl generates energy at 13 energy per Snarl. It's a 3-turn move. I'm running Hex on my Drifblim, which is also a 3-turn move. I know that Shiftery is going to get to foul play at 4 Snarls, which is precisely the same time that my Drifblim is going to get to Icy Wind, and I know that I'm going to lose CMP. So what I'm going to try to do right here is not throw my move, continue to tap my screen in hopes of getting an extra fast move in, which is what I was able to do here. So I'm able to get an energy advantage right off the start. My opponent has no real reason to bait me here, so I'm just going to shield this, and it is the foul play. Now, on the second cycle here, it only takes 3 snarls to get to the foul play for the Shiftery. And once again, I know that the Shiftery is going to win CMP, so I cannot be too aggressive with the farming here. And I do want to get this Icy Wind debuff off as quickly as possible. So I'm going to throw this Icy Wind. My opponent gets a shield. Now, what we haven't even discussed already is when you see the lead Pokemon, I see a Shiftery here, you can immediately start to assume what your opponent might have in the back. Shiftery being dark and grass is weak to fire, and it's also weak to fighting. So I'm assuming that my opponent is going to have some sort of a fighting counter or a fire counter in the back, and that kind of is worrisome for my Typhlosion if it is a fire counter in the back. So I'm keeping this in mind and seeing what my opponent wants to do here. Now right there, I was attempting to catch a foul play on my Kingdra, but my opponent was very smart and held onto their energy. Because they are debuffed with the Icy Wind, I'm not worried about this at all. And I switch in this Kingdra to get things moving, and I want to see what my opponent has in the back. So Drifblim. We know the counts for Drifblim because I led with Drifblim there. It's going to take 4 hexes to get to the Icy Wind. It's going to take 5 hexes to get to the Shadow Ball. My Kingdra is at an outrage here. We both have expent 1 shield, so it is far less likely that my opponent is going to shield this move. I'm just going for the outrage, and most likely I'm only going to be able to get to 1 move anyways. The outrage goes through, and that's pretty big for me. Even if this is Shadow Ball, I can come in and farm with my own Drifblim, so there's no point in me shielding this right here, but it's actually just an Icy Wind. This is totally fine with me because I can now Dragon Breath this down. If they bring in the Shiftery, I still don't know what is in the back, so they do bring out the Shiftery. We've also seen a Drifblim, which is a very solid counter to a fighting type, so I'm still concerned that it could be some sort of a water type in the back. So I still don't know what's in the back. My opponent brings out their Shiftery. I'm looking at my energy here, and I can see that I can barely survive this Snarl in order to get to this outrage. If this lands, the Shiftery's gone, and I'm looking really good. But they actually shielded up. Shields are down, and I have a Typhlosion in the back. Typhlosion in the back when shields are down is very, very powerful. So I'm definitely going to bring Typhlosion out here, especially if my opponent like panic throws a foul play thinking that I'm bringing out the Drifblim. Foul play is only going to hit for neutral on Typhlosion. So I'm going to bring out the Typhlosion. I see that my Incinerate goes through. I'm going to no-shield this, but because Incinerate is a 5-turn fast move, I know that right here, my opponent has already swapped out. I know that they've swapped out because they want to transfer this Incinerate damage onto whatever Pokemon is in the back. So most likely what I'm going to do here is just blind swap. The second that this charge move animation is done, I'm going to click my swap button, and I blind swap. It's their own Charizard. It is a wing attack Charizard. So it's a 2-turn fast move. Again, my Hex is a 3-turn fast move. They are out of shields, so I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here. It's going to do massive damage. I do know that Charizard is going to win CMP against my Drifblim. CMP stands for Charge Move Priority, and that's when both players queue up their charge move at the same time. Whichever Pokemon has the higher attack stat gets to throw first. So the Charizard gets to throw here. I'm gonna no shield it because even if they blast burn me, I can come in with my Typhlosion, farm down. At this point, I'm fully committed to saving my shield for the Typhlosion. I lose the CMP tie again. I'm gonna no shield this, and because I lost the CMP tie, I'm going to throw no bubbles of charge on this Icy Wind here. And what you're going to see is that this is going to allow me to get 1 extra Hex on this Charizard, which is going to provide me with enough stored energy to Icy Wind the Shiftery. I'm keeping an eye on my switch clock as well. My switch clock is going to be up right after I throw this move, so if this Icy Wind does not KO, I'm going to insta-swap and make sure that I can get Incinerate damage off onto the Shiftery, but the Icy Wind was just enough to KO there. So my opponent led with the Shiftery. Shiftery is weak to fighting types and fire types. They had Drifblim and a wing attack Charizard for their counter in the back there. And it makes sense because wing attack Charizard can beat the other fire types. and Drifblim is a very solid hard counter to the fighting types. And so energy management was pretty key there, and as the battle continued to progress and I finally saw what Pokemon they had in the back, I was able to clearly decide which one of my Pokemon I was going to save my final shield for. I recognized that Typhlosion was actually going to be my MVP once I had full confidence that there was no water type in the back. So pretty important stuff to recognize. This battle against the 6'4 Ninja is absolutely crazy. Really tough battle here. So Drifblim into Snorlax is very bad. The problem with Snorlax lead is that there's a couple different normal team comps that could be behind it. It could be Snorlax double dragon, it could meaning Kingdra and Dragonite in the back, which means that my Typhlosion is totally screwed with the back line. Or it could be Snorlax double charm. It could be a lot of different combinations of what could be in the back. But I do know that this is terrible for my Drifblim because the ghost type moves are double resisted because of Snorlax's normal typing. And then the lick damage from Snorlax is going to be hitting super effective. So I'm going to instantly go into my Kingdra as my safe swap here and see what my opponent wants to do. So right here, they are staying in. So I'm going to continuously build up energy here. My thought process here is maybe they're going to throw a body slam and then leave and bring in one of their own Pokemon to farm me down. I don't want to commit a shield on this body slam here because I know that I survive, and I know that I'm going to comfortably reach this outrage before my opponent gets to another body slam. It's very close, but I'm barely able to get to this outrage before they reach a body slam. Body slam is 35 energy. I get a shield on that outrage there. So I already know that I'm going to be fully farmed down here, which is not great because this Snorlax is going to be loaded with energy. I still have no idea what could be in their back line. Snorlax, being a normal type, is weak to fighting types. So there could possibly be some sort of a confusion user in the back or a charmer in the back. If that's the case, Typhlosion's obviously going to have a lot of play against the Charmer. My Drifblim's obviously going to have a lot of play against if they have a confusion user in the back. So unfortunately here, my Kingdra is for sure going to get farmed all the way down. But luckily my opponent throws their energy. But I know that they're still heavily over-farmed here. And so whatever I bring out is going to have to take some damage here. I can't bring in my Drifblim because I can't fast move farm the Snorlax down. Even though the superpower or the body slam from Snorlax would be hitting for massive resisted damage on my Drifblim, I don't have enough farm down potential with Hex. So my only option here is to bring out my Typhlosion. I do have a shield advantage. Typhlosion functions very well with the shield advantage. I know I'm going to get hit by a body slam. Incinerate is a 5-turn move against Snorlax's Lick, which is a 1-turn move. So the Snorlax is getting 5 licks for every single Incinerate, and it takes 12 licks pretty much to get to a body slam. So out comes Kingdra. My opponent switches into Kingdra. The reason that my opponent does this is because they want to bait out my Drifblim once again, so it is not going to be able to see what they have in their back line. This kind of signals to me that whatever they have in their back line might be weak to Drifblim. So I'm starting to think that maybe it is a confusion user. Having Solar Beam on Typhlosion is really nice here. I'm capped at 100 energy. I threw 5 Incinerates. Each Incinerate generates 20 energy, so I'm capped at 100 energy. Gonna throw the Solar Beam here. It gets shielded. That is not good for me at all, so I'm going to immediately swap so I continuously don't get farmed down. In my head, I remember I have 20 energy stored on my Typhlosion because I built up to 100 and then threw a Solar Beam, which is 80 energy. So I have that energy banked. I have to make a call on whether or not this is Outrage or Octazooka. So I'm going to shield up this Outrage. Thank goodness it was Outrage. I don't have to worry about getting debuffed. I have to get some chip damage off on this, so I will throw the Shadow Ball because shields are down. My opponent still has a Snorlax that is healthy enough to output a decent amount of lick damage, but they are going to be in Icy Wind range. I have to get rid of this Kingdra before it throws a move. I cannot overfarm anymore. Gonna throw this Icy Wind. For sure, my opponent is going to bring out the Snorlax, but I will survive a Body Slam plus the lick damage. I have to get into an Icy Wind to take this out. I know I have a jump start on energy with my Typhlosion because I have that 1 Incinerate overflow, so that's 20 energy. I know I'm going to survive this Body Slam, and at this point the Snorlax is essentially energy dry. I'm worried that my opponent might make a sacrificial swap right here, so I am watching. I'm watching. They're staying in because they thought that they could farm me down, but I'm able to get to this Icy Wind. No matter what happens here, I'm going to blind swap into Typhlosion so I don't get farmed down. Here's the swap. I'm clicking it. It's a Gallade in the back. Gallade is running Confusion, which is a 4-turn fast move. It's going to take Gallade 3 Confusions to get to the Leaf Blade, and because I had 1 Incinerate of a head start there, I'm able to get 10 turns worth of fast moves with my Incinerate before the Gallade is able to get 12 turns worth of fast moves with 3 Confusions there. Able to get to this Blast Burn. I know it's not going to one-shot, but the Gallade is going to barely survive, and my opponent has to throw their energy right here, otherwise they're going to get incinerated down. So here's the Leaf Blade. Confusion is a 4-turn move. Hex is a 3-turn move, so I know that my damage from Hex is going to register before the Confusion does, and I win with a sliver of health. That game was very, very tough and was very exciting when I was playing it out, so very good game to my opponent. All right, one more battle left in this series. If you enjoy this series right now, click that like button and click that subscribe button, because these definitely more time put into these videos, but I feel like it's beneficial information for everyone. Drifblim into Charizard. The second that you see a Charizard, you need to assess whether or not, or what fast move this Charizard is running. If it's Fire Spin, I know that my fast move is going to be this with the same sync as the Charizard. If it's Wing Attack, it's a 2-turn, and if it's Dragon Breath, I really need to be aware of that because it's tricky to keep track with that energy. It's Fire Spin. I know that Charizard wins CMP. It's going to take 5 Fire Spins to get to the Blast Burn. Right there, I did not force CMP because I knew that I was going to lose it. And so I'm tapping my screen in hopes of getting an extra fast move through, and I was able to get an extra Hex through right there. No matter what, I'm going to shield this because of all this energy. I get baited with Dragon Claw. That's fine by me. If this Shadow Ball successfully lands, I am willing to commit 2 shields because I know that I can Hex down this Charizard and leave with a lot of loaded energy. The Shadow Ball is successful. I know that they're going to go for Blast Burn, so I will commit my 2nd shield. I'm going to go down 2 shields in this lead, but I'm going to leave with a lot of energy. Charizard in the lead. We need to talk about this. Charizard in the lead is weak to water. So I'm almost guaranteeing that there's at least 1 grass type in the back, because my opponent needs to have a hard counter to a water type, especially because they're running Fire Spin and not Wing Attack or Dragon Breath, which would hit for neutral damage on the water type. So I know that my Typhlosion is looking pretty good in the back because there's most likely a grass in the back. So I'm going to shield this. I'm going to Hex down. I have a lot of loaded energy. Out comes Abomasnow. I'm going to throw a Shadow Ball here. Even though both shields are up, I want to start burning shields here. But I'm not going to stay in here for the long haul, because I have way too much health left on my Drifblim that this Abomasnow can fully farm down. Even though Typhlosion resists all of Abomasnow's moves, I don't want to be farmed down with this high of health. So I'm going to throw an Icy Wind here. And my opponent knows that it's an Icy Wind because they've been keeping track of my energy, so there's no way that they shield this. But the goal of this Icy Wind is to debuff them. I'm going to safe swap my Kingdra. They're inclined to stay in right there because Abomasnow is still somewhat of a decent matchup. And they actually have a Ferrothorn in the back, so they have 2 grass types in the back. At this point, I absolutely know that Typhlosion is going to be my key to victory, but I need to discover what the Ferrothorn's secondary move is. I've seen Power Whip. Obviously, they're going to throw Power Whip on Kingdra. If it's Thunder, I'm very worried because that's going to hit for neutral damage on my Typhlosion. If it's Flash Cannon, I'm not as worried because I'm going to resist Power Whip and Flash Cannon. So what I have to do here is do as much chip damage as possible with my Kingdra. And then I have to bring out my Drifblim onto this Ferrothorn with the entire purpose of forcing this Ferrothorn to reveal their secondary move. This is also forcing them to dump energy, so when I do bring out my Typhlosion, it's going to be able to safely output this damage. I'm able to get this Icy Wind off. My opponent still has a shield up. I'm trying to draw this last shield with this Icy Wind. They let it go. Nice play by them. Okay, let's see it. Is it Flash Cannon or Thunder? It's Flash Cannon. This means my Typhlosion should cleanly be able to sweep. And even though I went down 2 shields in the lead, I was able to safe swap the Kingdra, continue to mix things up, and burn shields with all that stored energy that I had on the Drifblim as well. And Typhlosion is able to sweep this backline. So, thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you enjoy this video series, if you enjoy this kind of in-depth analysis of what is going on in my brain while I'm battling, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all once again for supporting the channel. Hitting 40,000 subscribers was a big milestone for sure. And I will see you all in the next video.